I believe it started in 2020 and I was year 10. And at that point, I had already been maybe 2 years of perming my hair because my natural hair is like 1A texture. Although barbers have tried to tell me that it is thick, individually the strands are not very thick, they're very thin, and my whole hair is just like flat. So, in the beginning of year 10, probably January, very early, I got a reperm and I was feeling good. I think I just turned 15. And when you're 15, you're very, very young and very, very, very foolish. What you're also filled with is hormones. And being in high school and being attending every period and always seeing that one couple in the corner doing stuff they really shouldn't be doing. It's quite annoying. And it was actually quite, it brought out emotions that I didn't think I would necessarily feel was that significant. I started feeling lonely, like left out. I wanted to know what that experience was, and I didn't want to be the person that went, yeah, I never dated. I never had a high school sweetheart. So I wanted to join the others. And so I went out and I found someone. Let's call them Crystal. Yeah, keep it. I'm not gonna dox someone. So Crystal and I talked for about a month chatting, and because it was my first time, I'm a very, very suspicious, really overthinking person. So I didn't let my guard down until at least a month had gone past. And after that month, we met in person at the city, and it was actually really quite fun. And I think after that, it kind of convinced myself subconsciously to let my guard down. And it was when I finally got into the relationship, it happened because we always FaceTime each other, like overnight, late at night. And it made me feel important in his life because he goes to some private school and he wakes up at like 6 a.m. to shower every single day. And knowing that, he still stays up and sacrifices his sleep schedule to talk to me. And so one of those days, those nights really, he's pretending to fall asleep, and I'm like, I say, don't fall asleep. You won't hear me asking you out. And I could just see in the corner, cause he's like, his phone is like there, so I'm seeing his face like landscape, and I just see the flash on his face and his like the smirk forming on his face. And so that happens, and we're official. And after that, everything goes downhill. First of all, it's exam week. No, that's just the start. But in exam week, we didn't really talk a lot. And at first, I thought it was because he knew it was exam week. So he didn't want to bother me because I was busy studying like 24/7. And after exam week started, I finally went up and I was like, oh my god, exams are finally over. We can talk again. And I realized he wasn't very warm, welcoming. He wasn't really he wasn't replying as cheerfully to good morning and good night. And it would always be me initiating those conversations. And then one night, he said, we need to talk. And I'm like, oh no. Is this how it feels? This isn't a good feeling. Like, when I watch the TV shows, I'm like always laughing, like, huh? But now, being in that position is not so funny. So I was in bed at night and I stood up. Well, I got up and he just said, my, my mother doesn't want me to date you anymore. And yeah, so mommy's boy, Crystal, broke up with me. And I guess in the moment, I wasn't really emotional because at this point, I really wanted my first relationship to begin and end very maturely. I don't want to be going through people like your sevens do, one every week. I wanted to take it seriously, long term. When I, it's because of that I took so long to let my guard down because when I really let someone in, I'm just hoping it's permanently or thinking long term, and you should really not have done that in a year 10 relationship. But yet again, I was 15 and very foolish. I'll say that again later. And I was just so surprised and shocked and frustrated because how could someone let go of something and that very thing I put everything into? And it was just, he let it go so easily, and that paragraph of saying goodbye was just another paragraph with emojis in it, sad face emojis, the audacity. So after that, I kind of let myself go, really. I kind of shut myself out subconsciously. This is a very bad era of my life. And at this point, it was already halfway through the year, and my perm was very, very grown out. And it kind of reflected myself because I was very tired emotionally. And you would think after being hurt, you would stop dating. And this is where I say, you're 15, so you're gonna be very, very foolish. And so instead of blocking and deleting every single app, went, I didn't really go back, actually. Let's just say I was thankful that I had a tiny bit of maturity and I sort of avoided those apps but didn't really delete them. Just indirectly blocked myself off. But I was still open to relationships. And I don't want to stop trying after one go, even though it took me a very long time to really be ready again. And at that time that I tried again, I wasn't actually ready, but I wouldn't have known, but now I know now. So I repermed my hair, and this process of reperming my hair was very like taking a shower and fresh out the bath. It was very revitalizing, and I guess at that time you become more self-aware of the person in the mirror, and self-appearance becomes more significant in your life. And even though it can be subtle, it's still very impactful. And I guess that's why for me it was hair, you know. When my hair looked good, I looked good. And so every time I re-permed my hair, it was like a new me, a new start. And it gave me the confidence and the backing to go out and meet people without the fear of not looking good enough. And so I would say it was around October. And let's call this one Blue. He made me feel very blue. Let's call him Blue. And I think it only lasted a week and nothing serious happened. It was more just talking. And because he was a friend of a friend, I talked to him initially with like a tone of just like, oh, hey, are you this person's friend? And he answered back, and soon that conversation started taking a turn. But at the end of the week, I think I just said, I don't think we're gonna be good in the long run. So let's just like cut it here. And so I'm just like, all right then. And my birthday comes, and he says happy birthday. And I'm like, no, no. You think I'm really gonna let that pass? So I delete his number and then go back to his number and go, who's this? But after that, the whole perspective of dating and meeting other people and starting relationships that weren't platonic, that mindset kind of slowly moved away from my mind. And 2021 began, year 11, and I, with my overgrown hair, decided maybe I just this one time, I'm not gonna reperm and I'm actually gonna cut all the curls off. And I won't say what hair it was because I kind of regret it, but I embraced my real hair, my straight hair. And for once, maybe it was the good barber because I went to an actual good quality place rather than those $10 tickets that like get you done in 5 minutes. My hair had volume, it had shape, it looked thick, and I was happy with my straight hair. It was my real hair, it wasn't authentic, it wasn't synthetic curls as a lot of people said at my school. But yeah, it was really took a lot to finally get to the stage where I realized I don't really need anyone else. I kind of just needed myself. And, if you're out there being like, I need someone, do you really? Yeah. So at that point in 2021, I was happy. I was different mindset. I learned maybe you should learn very cringy, overused statement, but it's a very true statement. You should learn to be happy with yourself before you become happy with someone else.
Yay!